Good day. Welcome back to CFC TV. Sorry I didn't make a video in a while, but there was nothing really going on. But this is my review of the first preseason game against New York Red Bulls. It finished 4-2 to New York Red Bull. But before I start properly with the review, I just want to say to everyone that is sort of complaining about this result that you have to think about that it was our first game of the whole season. Players had a month off. And we just had a week of training, and the others are mid-season. The MLS is ongoing at the moment, so that is a big difference, obviously, sharp-wise, fitness-wise, and everything else. And remember, last season, our last preseason game, so not the first, the last, we lost 3-0 to Werder Bremen, and it wasn't like yesterday where we had the problem of defensive problems or unconcentration. But we got dominated by them. And see what we ended up with. Premier League, Capital One Cup, So don't, overvalue this result. That's just what I want to say. So I'm going to talk about the two halves as individuals, because there were so many changes, obviously, because it was a friendly. So the lineup for the first half was Courtois in goal, Ivanovic, Zuma, Cahill, Azpilicueta, Cesc, Mikel, Traore, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, even though I'm not sure if he played cam or if it was a 4-3-3, but he played kind of as a cam in the first half. Moses on the right, and Remy started up front. It took us a few minutes to get sort of going. Obviously, New York, as I said, they're mid-season. They were a lot sharper, a lot quicker out of the blocks, After 15 minutes or so, we really got going, we got on track. Moses had a really good chance, a really good run basically, and he just took a good shot, to be honest, but it was a good save by the keeper. And then Remy scored after, 20, 22 minutes or something. It was a low cross by Oscar. Great first touch by Remy, then he sort of rolled it out so he didn't get it under his feet basically and just banged it in. He might have been a little bit offside, I'm not 100% sure about that, but it looked like he was. Then after that, Moses had another chance where he sort of lobbed the keeper and hit the post. Unlucky, but again, decent effort. Then I want to just quickly, Traore, he had 2 or 3 good chances. Well, maybe not good chances, but 3 good shots. One went wide, one was quite easy for the goalkeeper to save. But the third one, it was a cross from Oscar, and he wanted to target it to Remy, but he couldn't get there because the defender just blocked him basically. And Traore took a volley shot, good save by the keeper again, but Traore got the rebound, put in a good cross, but Remy couldn't, even though he was alone on goal, it just hit him. Well, he tried to get his knee up or something, but it hit him above his knee, so he hit it over the bar. He should score it probably, but in 2 or 3 weeks' time he will. That's just down to lack of sharpness and lack of fitness, which obviously affects his movement. Yeah, so that was basically everything that happened in the first half. So I'm not gonna mention the usual players. I'm gonna mention those at the end. But the players that only played the first half and we haven't seen that much usually. Traore and Moses, they both did really well. Moses for me a little bit better because he was just more on the ball. But they were both really good. Both really good on the ball. Both have a decent shot. Both lightning fast, good dribblers. So even though I didn't expect much from Moses, and I'm not sure if he's quality enough to play for Chelsea, but he did all right, as a 5th winger, or at 4th, depending on how Traore does. I'm happy with that, I mean, obviously I prefer Pedro. There's still a rumour going about that we loan out Moses, sell Moses or something, and get Pedro. But, if it doesn't happen, Moses will be all right. Cahill had a few sloppy passes in the beginning, but all the players weren't that great in the first few minutes, so I give him that. Cesc was a bit quiet, a bit easy to push off the ball, basically, but he had his great passes, just like usual, Remy did great for the goal, but as I said, he had that one miss, and for me, personally, he was a bit out wide too much for playing as the only striker, because, I don't know, it was just, if he's not playing with Costa, he has to be in the middle. Because it was a few times that he got a ball, but he was out wide. And then we only have Moses and Traore who weren't really I mean, Moses is quite physically strong, but he's really short, and Traore is maybe not that short, but you can just see that he's physically not that strong. So yeah, both not gonna get to a header. But I mean, that can be worked on. So the second half's lineup was Begovic made his debut, a new signing. I know I didn't make a video about that, but he's a great backup keeper. He's a great keeper to have. Aina, a youth player, started as right back, or came on as like a right back for the second half. Zuma stayed on the pitch. JT came on. Aspilicueta stayed on as well. Ramirez instead of Cesc, Matic instead of Mikel. Hazard came on. Loftus-Cheek stayed on the pitch. Oscar stayed on the pitch. Sorry, did I just completely fucked it up? My bad. Oscar obviously started the first half, and not Ruben Loftus-Cheek. My bad. Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on in the second half. Oscar stayed on the pitch, played sort of a right winger, and Costa came on for Remy. We start off a bit sloppy again, which is kind of obvious because it's sort of the first minutes for the other 8 players now. So that kind of makes sense. Costa had a... No, before that it was JT. It was a bit sloppy by Begovic. Basically, it was a cross. He tried to get there. I'm not sure if he tried to catch it or punch it away, but he didn't get there. And then they took a shot, but JT cleared it off the line. Then Costa had a good chance. Basically, not sure how exactly it happened. He just got it down to a volley in, I don't know, like 8-9 yards from the goal, but he hit it a bit over the bar. I mean, it's the same with Remy really. After a few weeks, after a few more days of training, a few more minutes in a match, he'll get there, he'll score, he'll be just as amazing, if not better than as last season, you know. Then a few minutes later, JT did something that we haven't seen from him in a long, long while. And let's hope that was his last mistake, because he had a really poor back pass. Begovic couldn't get out his goal quick enough because it was just too short, the ball. And their striker got there and just put it in the empty net, basically. Then Costa had another 2 in 1 good chance, because it was, I think, a free kick by Oscar. Costa got a header, hit it on the bar, I think. And then he got the rebound, the volley, which, to be honest, he really should have scored. Hit it over the bar. But in my opinion, same thing as the first chance. He just needs game time. All the players need game time, and it will work, you know. And after that, there was a little bit of time when nothing happened. Then the 2-1 for New York came. It came from a cross from Aspilicueta's side. He maybe didn't close down enough or something. But the biggest problem in that was Ramirez. He was just standing there, looking around like he got nothing to do. And there was just one of their players just running behind him, right in the box, and headed it in completely unmarked. Nothing Begovic could have done about. But if Ramirez would have just looked out and had some vision and see where some players were going around, he could have just, I don't know, either blocked his way of run or just gone the way or some clear the ball, get to the header first, whatever, you know. The goal could easily have been avoided. Then the third goal, quite short after that, it came. Then we took Aina off and brought Solanke on. So we switched to a defence of 3 people. Zuma sort of played right back. JT is the only centre back. And Aspilicueta obviously stayed left back. And Matic sort of helped out when we were really defending. But the problem with that was that because Matic went in the box as basically another centre half, Ramirez was on his own. In this case, he followed one player to sort of stop him getting the ball. But there was another player, obviously unmarked, because Matic was not as playing as defensive mid at that moment, but he was basically centre back right now. And after Matic got the ball, got a touch to the ball from the cross, he fell basically just inside the box to a New York player, and he just slid it in because he was unmarked. That won't happen if we play our usual formation that we play in the league in the important matches, you know, just a 4-2-3-1, or sometimes a 4-3-3, of course. Then it was really crazy game for that time. It was like goal after goal after goal. Then, as I said, our second goal came, so the 3-2. It was a good free kick routine. Oscar took the free kick just outside the box, but like close to the goal line. Passed it out to Hazard, who was standing basically on the edge of the box, completely unmarked. He was just alone. he had a good first touch and then just a great shot bottom left corner. Nothing the goalkeeper could have done about, but goals like that don't happen in the Premier League. Goals like that definitely don't happen in the knockout stages of the Champions League because Hazard is not going to be unmarked at the edge of the box there. But still, it was a good goal. It was a good free kick for the team. So, yeah. Then the 4-2 came from another cross from Aspilicueta's side. He was already kind of pushing the guy off the ball. He sort of lacked strength. Maybe he was tired because he played the whole, 75 minutes or something. And obviously, they are not up to full fitness yet. So he couldn't really take the ball off him. The ball got crossed in. And then it was Ramirez with a really poor clearance. He just hit it 5 meters. Like, I don't know. Just he tried to hit it away with his foot, but he just didn't get a good touch on it. And it just fell to the next player. He took a shot straight away. Got a little deflection from Ramirez. And then it went in. But Begovic, to be honest, even if it got a little deflection, he still should have saved it. I mean, he would have saved it if it wouldn't have got the deflection. But it was a really low shot. And Begovic was down quick enough. But he was like kind of rolled up, you know. He was just, if he would have just stretched out his hands a little bit more, just, you know, he would have got there. I mean, it's not a big mistake, you know. But he should have saved it. I'm pretty sure Courtois would have saved it. But oh well, I mean, it was his first game, so not really slating him. And Costa had another chance. He really missed a few yesterday. I'm not sure who the pass came from, but he was right on the right hand side of the box, and just tried to put it in a side net, on the opposite side net. He just put it a few inches wide, so no big deal. That can happen. Then Oscar had a huge chance where Hazard really pushed down the left flank, cut inside really close to the goal line, put in a low cross, and Oscar could have just buried it, but he put it a few, like half a meter, half a yard, whatever, put it wide. So he should have buried it, but I mean, so I'm gonna come to the players of the second half and the players that played the whole match. So Begovic, as I said, he had a few shaky moments in the beginning, and once he tried to hold some player off the ball on the goal line but close to the corner flag, maybe someone messed it up and the player got like a sliding tackle around him. Nothing happened of it, but still he needs to do better at those. Then Aina, the right back, to be honest, I haven't seen much of him except that game, but he didn't have to do a lot. He was probably told to stay back a little just to get comfortable and not to like open up too many spaces which he has to recover then by Jose. But there was not much going on his side of the game before he was substituted. So, I mean, yeah, he was decent, I guess. Then JT, as I said, the sloppy back pass and a few other short passes maybe. But he got into the game for the as long as it went on, you know. He obviously had the clearance early on in the second half. But I guess that will stop, you know, there's just sharpness really. Azuma did go all game. He played the whole 90 minutes. He was, in my opinion, the best defensive player anyways. Aspilicueta is just not up to his usual strength yet. But he'll get there. He had some good interceptions, but not like, he did get pushed off the ball a few times and he didn't close down enough, so 2 of the goals could happen, because not blaming him of course for the goal, but just maybe he could have avoided it by doing that a little bit better. Ramirez had a really poor game, did nothing going forward, absolutely nothing, and then had the huge mistake for the goal. So he had a day to forget really. Matic was decent, nothing spectacular, neither defensively nor offensively, you know. Ruben Loftus-Cheek played the first part of the second half as a cam, but as soon as Solanke came on, and Solanke and Costa sort of switched around, who was striker, who was cam, and they weren't like next to each other all the time, then he dropped a little bit deeper, and you could clearly see that he was more comfortable there. He wasn't bad when he was playing sort of a cam role, but he wasn't as good. He wasn't as effective, let's say that. But still, I'm really impressed by him, and I really think that he has a future at the club, and I think that he will play quite a few matches this season. Then it was Hazard, who was just good as usual. Obviously not as fit as he can be, not as fit as he was in, let's say, December or something. But he was good. All his crazy turns and flicks and skills and all that stuff still there, you know, just like, to be honest, what we expect. Then Oscar was good. He made the assist. He made both assists actually. Should have scored once, maybe twice. He had another header that got saved, but to be honest, I'm not blaming him for not scoring a header. He's not. That's not really a speciality, is it? Costa played well in general. Good link-up play with Hazard, Oscar, Loftus Cheek as well. But he just couldn't score his three chances. But that will come. He's just an awesome player. And then Solanke only played for like half an hour, 25 minutes. He did all right, but there was nothing he did. Basically, nothing special. I mean, he had the ball a few times, didn't lose it, didn't do anything great with it. So happy with that. So in general, as I said in the beginning, it was just a preseason game. Don't overvalue it. We could have won it 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 2-0 or 2-1 if we weren't that sloppy in defence. So our build-up play was really good, I think. I mean, obviously it wasn't the greatest of opponents, but still. And the finishing, that doesn't really lie down to the opponent. That's just training, and that will come. And we all know that Costa and Remy are good finishers, so no problem with that. So the next game is PSG. It's Saturday to Sunday night. I think in the UK it starts just 11:05 on Saturday evening, and here it's like 5 past midnight. So can't wait for that. I'm obviously going to do a review for that on Sunday, and we'll see Falcao again. He just, again, for the first time. He joined the team yesterday actually, but obviously he won't play if he didn't train a single day. He just did the warm-up, same with Cuadrado and Willian. And those three will be involved in the game against PSG. Filipe Luis he's in the squad anymore. He didn't join yesterday the club, so he's probably going to officially sign the next 2 or 3 days for Atletico Madrid. And we're going for a left back. I heard Baba Rahman from Augsburg, who was voted the best left back in the Bundesliga last season. Obviously down to Alaba being injured a lot, but still, he's a good left back. He's young. He can develop. I would be decently happy with that. I still hope that we're getting a midfielder, because Mikel wasn't bad yesterday, but he still does the same thing. And kind of, sometimes I feel like Ramirez is even worse. His quality is better than Mikel's, but he just finds it more difficult to show his quality all the time, because his first touch is usually so bad. And if your first touch is bad, whatever other qualities you have, you can't really show, because you mess up everything before you even start doing anything with the ball, really. So that was it from me. I know it was a bit of a long video. I'm sorry, but I wanted to get really detailed into this whole game, because I want to talk about the players, want to talk about the game, and so you don't overvalue it. Yeah, so see you for a review on Sunday, and keep the blue flag flying high.